I've got one thing to say to you, Billy. I think God's telling me you need a lesson.
Hi, everybody. I'm Janet,
And I'm Mike.
and welcome to the book report presented by the Millions. It's the first Friday of February, and that means Mike and I read the same book this week, and that book is Descent by Tim Johnston. It's about a family of four, mom and dad, brother and sister, who go on vacation in Colorado. And when the two kids are out for a jog, the daughter is kidnapped. And then the book is basically this about the psychological after effects of this happening in their family. So the dad and the brother stay in Colorado, sort of on a semi-permanent basis, to try to keep looking for the daughter, Caitlin. And then their mom goes back to Wisconsin, where they're from, and goes quietly insane. I have some thoughts on this book, and I would like to hear yours, Mike.
Well, okay, if you insist.
I do.
Well, Descent is, it's obviously a thriller. It's a pretty effective thriller as far as that goes, and it's really, really suspenseful. This is a cliche, but I did stay up late one night to finish it, just because he's a good writer. His prose is really good. There were a few things in it that I thought were a little weird. At some point, it seems like the author completely forgets or stops caring about the mom. And she's just kind of like, she's like, okay, so she went to an insane asylum, now back to the guys.
It's weird, and it's so blatant.
Mm.
Like, he doesn't try to cover up his disinterest in the mom character. And it's almost like halfway through the book he was just like, why is she here?
I'm not saying like every book has to have like an equal gender balance of characters. Some stories are just about women and some are just about men, There's nothing wrong with that, but it kind of becomes obvious if you're trying to throw some kind of token women in there, and it just I'm just like, dude, you don't seem comfortable with this,
Yeah, he's obviously interested in the male psyche.
Mm.
And if that's the case, like, just go with it. I found it so bizarre from time to time. It was like when the family was together as a family unit at the beginning, it reads just like a completely 21st century realist novel. But
yes,
anytime
absolutely.
you're in Colorado with just the dudes, there's this tonal shift into this like Cormac McCarthy dialogue.
Exactly.
Like, when did they all start talking like this? But only in those scenes. And then if you go, go to some other scenario, then they just start talking like people on Parenthood again.
Yeah. Instead of like, you sleep? I reckon. Coffee? Nah.
But man, did I want to know what happened.
Oh God, and yeah, the climactic scene was pretty worth it. I will say, like, it was. If you told me, like, read me a description of the climactic scene, I'd probably be like, oh, come on. But the way he managed it, I was just like, I really wanted to know what happened. I thought he pulled it off pretty well. It's obviously not going to spoil it, but it's a very tense few pages.
I don't mean to dump on this book. I just think, like, the things I didn't like about it are more complicated than the things I liked about it. Like, the things I liked about it are just very simple. This came up a lot last year when I didn't like True Detective. There were all these things about it that I completely understood were good, but I was just tired of that story. I get tired of reading books where violence against women is a catalyst for men to learn things about themselves. And this was definitely True Detective syndrome, where everything that was happening to women was so that Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey could show how great they were.
Right.
And this book was similar in that this horrible thing happened to a teenage girl, but it's mostly about how it affects the men in her life. And the way it affects them is interesting and is worth dissection and is done well, but I just can't care that much about how it affects her dad and her brother and their man friends.
Well,
Descent. It's a good title.
It's actually a really great title that makes sense with with some of the key scenes.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the descent of, because she gets kidnapped in the mountains, so descent means like her being able to come out of mountains, but also all of their descents into madness.
You'll be terrified.
And despair. Different descents down the same crazy mountain.
Just into different valleys of bad feelings.
And the top is bad too, so everywhere you go it's bad.
Everywhere you go it's bad. If they make this into a movie, that might have to be the tagline. Everywhere you go, it's bad.
So thank you for joining us here on the Book Report's Descent. We'll be back next Friday. We will see you then. You'll never walk alone, Mike.
You'll never walk alone, Janet. So many descents. So little time.